Trystan slumped into his desk chair, the faint hum of his laptop filling the silence of his dorm room. It had been a long day of classes and social obligations, and all he wanted was a moment of mindless scrolling through his phone. He opened his photo gallery, lazily flipping through pictures from the last semester, group selfies, campus events, and the occasional scenic shot of the fall foliage. But then he stopped. In one of the photos, a group shot from a recent party, something caught his eye. At the edge of the frame, standing just beyond the group, was a figure. It was faint, almost translucent, but unmistakably a person. Trystan squinted, zooming in on the image. His stomach dropped. It was Darren. Darren had been Trystan's best friend in high school. They had been inseparable, the kind of friends who could communicate with a single look. Darren had died in their senior year. A tragedy that had rocked their small town. The circumstances of his death were murky, ruled an accident, but leaving behind whispers of something more sinister. Trystan blinked hard, convincing himself he was just tired, his eyes playing tricks on him. He scrolled to the next picture. Darren was there again, this time closer, his features more defined. Panic crept in as Trystan swiped through more photos. In each one, Darren appeared clearer, moving closer as if trying to step out of the digital realm into the real world. Trystan's hands trembled, and his phone slipped from his grip, landing on the desk with a clatter. For a moment, he swore he heard a faint whisper from the phone, a low murmur that sent a shiver down his spine. It sounded like Darren's voice, a distant plea that made Trystan's skin crawl. The ringtone shattered the silence, making Trystan jump. The screen lit up with an incoming call. It was Darren. Trystan stared, frozen. The name on the screen was unmistakable. "This isn't real," he whispered to himself. The phone kept ringing, each chime louder than the last, demanding his attention. Against every instinct screaming at him to let it go to voicemail, Trystan answered. "Hello?" His voice cracked. There was a pause. Then a distorted, crackling voice seeped through the line. "Trystan," it said. Unmistakably Darren's, though warped as if coming from somewhere cold and hollow. "I need your help." Trystan's heart raced. "Darren, is that really you?" "You have to find out what happened to me," Darren's voice pleaded, the sound scratching at Trystan's nerves like nails on glass. "I can't move on until the truth is uncovered." The line went dead. Trystan stared at his phone, his mind spinning. The truth? What truth? He had always accepted the official story. A tragic accident on a rainy night, but now, doubt gnawed at him. What if Darren's death wasn't an accident? What if someone had? "No," Trystan said aloud, shaking his head. This was insane. But when he looked back at his phone, the gallery had changed. Photos of Darren filled the screen, each one showing him in places Trystan hadn't visited in years. Their old high school, the diner they used to hang out at, and the woods where Darren's body had been found next to a large boulder. They claimed he slipped, fell off the boulder, and hit his head hard. In one photo, Darren's face seemed twisted, a silent scream etched across his features. His eyes looked directly at Trystan, wide with terror, begging for salvation. The message was clear. Trystan had to go back. Over the next week, Trystan returned to his hometown. The memories were overwhelming, but the sense of purpose pushed him forward. He retraced Darren's last known steps, talking to old friends and uncovering details he had overlooked in his grief. Bit by bit, a different story emerged. A fight at the diner, a confrontation in the woods, and a name that kept coming up. Jake, a boy from their school who had always resented Darren's easy charisma, and they both were in love with the same girl. Late one night, as Trystan pieced together the final puzzle in Darren's story, his phone buzzed again. Darren's name flashed on the screen. Trystan answered without hesitation this time. "I know what happened," Trystan said, his voice steady but his hands shaking. "Jake murdered you. In the woods. You never saw it coming because you thought he had left after confronting you. He secretly had been crushing on Alexia, and you made the first move instead of him, and he resented you for it. But the guilt ate at him until he confessed a few years ago. He's in jail now." There was silence on the other end, and for a moment, Trystan thought the call had dropped. Then Darren's voice came through, soft and full of relief. "I should have known it was him. Now I can finally move on." The line went silent, but just as Trystan lowered the phone, he thought he heard a final whisper. "Be careful, Trystan." The phone screen went dark, and Trystan sat frozen, his blood cold. For the first time in weeks, he felt a profound sense of unease, as if Darren's story wasn't the end, but the beginning of something much worse. The next morning, Trystan packed to return to college, glancing at his phone one last time. The gallery is back to normal. No more eerie photos, no more ghostly appearances. However, Trystan knew he would never forget what he had witnessed, or the friend he had at last given peace.